The next special segment is called a mid-segment. A mid-segment is found by finding the midpoint of each side. So go ahead and tick, tick, the midpoint of each side. And then those three midpoints just get connected to each other. So you'll notice this time there's not a point of concurrency. They each meet each other in one spot, but they don't all three intersect at any certain spot. But there are still neat properties about midsegments. The first one is if you connect a midpoint to make a midsegment, that segment is always going to be parallel to one of the sides of the triangle. That's pretty cool. And the nice thing about that is then we have corresponding angles that are congruent. There's all kinds of things you can figure out when you have parallel lines, right? Another interesting thing about midsegments is the length of the midsegment. I'm going to measure this side in millimeters just so we don't deal with decimals. I'm seeing 17 millimeters for that segment. And if the midsegment is 17 millimeters long, how long would you guess this side is going to be? Would you guess that they're congruent? I don't think so. This one looks a little longer. I am getting 34 millimeters. What's the relationship there? This side is twice as long as the midsegment. So the two interesting things about a midsegment, the segment connecting the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, is that that segment is parallel to the third side and half as long as that side. Parallel and half as long. How are we going to make our midsegments? Obviously, first we're going to find the midpoint of each side. And once you find all the midpoints, then you'll connect the midpoints to each other. Our tool for finding midpoints is the ruler. 9.4 centimeters divided by 2 is 4.7. Six divided by 2 is 3. And 9.6 divided by 2 is 4.8. And then we'll just connect those together. You'll actually notice that 4 little triangles are formed when we connect those. Do you think all 4 triangles are congruent? We know that this midsegment is half the length of this one, so if we split that equally in half, this would be congruent to each of those. And the same thing for each midsegment. Each midsegment is going to be congruent to half of that other side. And hopefully you can see that all 4 triangles there have the side, side, side congruence. All of those triangles are congruent. On top of that, we also know that we have a bunch of parallels going on, right? Each of those midsegments is parallel to one of the sides of the triangle. So this one should be pretty simple to do. You're again just going to measure to find the midpoints of each of the 3 sides, and then you'll connect those midpoints together, forming that triangle in the center. Please do that for both of these triangles.